Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we are going to present our strategy update slide, which is our group name is Bachelors Troops and our company is duopharma Biotech Berhad. My name is Fatin Khalida binti Kamaruddin and my matric number is 268066 and this is our group members. First is Nur Safia Muhammad Fadil 268080, Izazurina Hassan 268118, Nurul Fatiha binti Ishaq 262693 and Desi binti Muhammad Nur 263389. Next, by the grace of Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, we have completed our strategic audit report on duopharma Biotech Berhad Company. That we are grateful to our Honorable Prof. Madya Dr. Abdul Manaf bin Buhari for his assist and supervisions throughout the working time. He helped us a lot by sharing his invaluable knowledge in helping us. Finally, we are also thankful to every committee members that were working together in completing this report, that we greatly working together in collecting information, brilliant ideas, comments, as well as suggestions. Okay, this is our table of content, which is what slide we're going to present in this presentation, which is from slide 1 until slide 71. Okay, until slide 71. Okay, this is our tentative, which is our group members, also me. We're going to presenting in this slides.
Hello, my name is Nur Safia binti Muhammad Fadil. My ID number is 268080 and I will continue with the next slide, which is my first part, executive summary. The purpose of the strategy audit is to compare the current state of duopharma Biotech Berhad business with the goals and objectives laid out in the strategic business plan. A strategy audit is an in-depth review to determine whether a company is meeting its organizational objective in the most efficient way. In this presentation about strategy audit report, we as a group will talk about the strategic issues and problems, STEP analysis, Porter 5 forces, the company's vision and mission, objective, and also strategies. With that, the strategy audit report also provides the information of duopharma Biotech Berhad Board of Directors, list of top management team and organizational structure, which include board structure and corporate structure. There were also SWOT analysis and those metrics that were provided according to the recent event of duopharma Biotech Berhad. And lastly, for the last part of the report, there were recommendation strategies. There were many challenges and issues, especially during these phases of pandemic COVID-19, and duopharma Biotech Berhad also did not miss the impact of the pandemic. Duopharma Biotech had to deal with an interruption in the availability of some raw materials on the supply side. However, they had little influence on the decline in demand for prescription pharmaceuticals, and at the same time, the organization had to make sure that the employees' welfare had to be taken care during these phases of COVID-19. From the external analysis, it was analyzed that duopharma Biotech Berhad having strategic issues following the pandemics that happened worldwide. Their risk profile described the real economic, social, and financial landscape and has evolved significantly in tandem with the pandemic. As a result, they have been focusing in monitoring the risks and how to adapt to them in order to reduce their potential impact on duopharma Biotech's performance. The STEP analysis showed that duopharma Biotech has stepped up from their zone. For example, as we can see in the technologies analysis, duopharma Biotech Berhad started to conduct virtual factory acceptance tests, which is FAT, for machinery purchased from overseas and take part in industry events. Some of the technological factors are access to greater information towards duopharma biotech performance according to the year of 2020. Duopharma biotech Berhad appears to have their own set of business practices. The demography in Malaysia affected the social culture analysis of the organisation. The organisation has those initial power structures, which are the social variables that lead to external forces. As Malaysia is a developing country, people tend to take care of their healthy for the sake of themselves. Besides, in the mid-crisis of the economy for every organisation because of the pandemic COVID-19, Duo Pharma Biotech Berhad continue to uplift their performance and adapt with the situation. The group concluded 2019 on a high note with financials reflecting sustained bold improvement and a remarkable set of results to cap off a successful year. Environmental and sustainability issues have grown increasingly significant to corporations. Duopharma Biotech's responsibility as a manufacturer is to guarantee that their processes are waste-free and leave as little of an environmental footprint as possible, with little impact on the environment. They engage in a variety of activities such as lowering the consumption usage of water, improve cleaning practices, and increase in employee awareness of the need to conserve water. Political concerns are commonly related to the scope and nature of local and national government intervention in the commercial and economic environment. Duopharma Biotech has practiced the regulations that comply with a variety of restrictions in the market in which they operate. Next, the Porter 5 forces is being used to analyze external factors of a business and industry. This business analysis tool is highly beneficial for determining whether a plan has the potential to be successful. In this strategic audit, it was analyzed in terms of customer bargaining power, rivalry among existing competitors, bargaining power of suppliers, which include threat of new entrants in the biotechnology and drugs industry, and threat of substitute product and service in the biotechnology and drugs industry. Next, for the internal forces that were defined as anything that occurs within the company and is under the company's control. Manufacturing, research and development, commercialization and marketing of over 300 generic drugs are among Duopharma Biotech's area of expertise in the pharmaceutical industry. Basically, Duopharma Biotech Berhad vision is to provide smarter solutions for a healthier life, and in mission view, they set a benchmark to leading healthy care groups, providing quality and innovative solutions. Duopharma also have focused on 4-pronged strategies. Next, for the financial analysis. In this strategic audit report, Duopharma Biotech will analyze. The analysis was determined based on the financial performance, which include the gross profit, net profit after tax, total assets, total liabilities, shareholder equity, return on investment, and return of equity and ratio. Next, for the SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis exists Duopharma Biotech Berhad in improving their better portion, addressing what is lacking or insufficient, and minimizing risk based on the SWOT analysis to understand the company's situation before deciding on a plan. Every component of strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats contain 2 points in the SWOT analysis of Duopharma Biotech Berhad. Next is TOS matrix. TOS matrix is a variation on the SWOT analysis framework that identify strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats, but then looks to connect strengths with opportunities and threat with weaknesses. And for the last part is recommended strategies derived with the tools analysis. In this part, the strategy audit report focus on the recommended strategy that duopharma Biotech Berhad need to enhance towards the performance organization that derive with the tools analysis metrics.
Next is strategic issues and challenges that faced by duopharma Biotech. So the impact of COVID-19 outbreak has affected many industries during the outbreak. Same goes to this health industry which got affected during the outbreak. Indeed, the health industry plays such a big role during the outbreak whereby most of the people infected by the COVID-19 will be managed by the healthcare industry to mitigate the spreading of the virus. Hence, consumer behavior has changed dramatically as a result of the epidemic as well as supply chain interruption, new regulation, financial hardship, and environmental uncertainty. So the first of all, the operating throughout the movement control order, duopharma Biotech was allowed to function during the government imposed movement control order MCO because pharmaceutical enterprise provide critical services. Indeed, this was a privilege and they took full advantage of the opportunity to contribute of the country well-being. Hence, they took action by dividing their employees into teams that alternated between working from home and at the office based on the committee's suggestion. These were implemented when the authorities issued new workplace standard and standard operating procedure (SOP). Besides, they conduct periodic site inspection and audits to ensure that all SOPs were followed. Alright, we move to the next point, which is employees infected by COVID-19 also be one of the strategic issue and challenges in duopharma Biotech. So duopharma Biotech recognize that they must protect their employees first and foremost in order to keep their product supplied to the market, and it was given at the highest attention. Meanwhile, even before the MCO, duopharma Biotech began making plans to keep their staff safe. The World Health Organization and the Ministry of Health established a committee to examine existing pandemic strategies as well as WHO and MOH guidelines. Based on the duopharma Biotech risk profile, to this issue, they took strict adherence to government regulation and standard operating procedure. Other than that, they took action by having screens installed to protect specific work areas to secure the protection of their employees. So for the second strategic issue and challenges is the project not meeting the planned objective. So risks associated with anything that might result in the project cost overrun, delay, or failure. Generally, as the well-known company, sustainability management might be the crucial factor in running the projects. However, when a huge project is coming around, there must be a huge cost involved in order to ensure the project can run smoothly. Indeed, for the challenges that might trigger for the duopharma Biotech Berhad is being associated with some or anything that may lead to cost overrun, delay or failure to complete the project could be a huge risk towards the company. In order to mitigate this issue, duopharma Biotech Berhad should be taking precautions by ensuring all projects requiring board approval are subjected to risk assessment with the risk register arising from the assessment as well as mitigation measures being required to be included in the project proposal. Next strategic issue or challenges is fluctuation in exchange rates and interest rate. The fluctuation rates which involve exchange and interest also play such an important role in the business world. Indeed, the rates define how good the economic value of the business is. The volatilities in currency rates and interest rate pose a risk to the value of your investment assets and liabilities in the financial world. Due to the challenges duopharma biotech need to face during the fluctuation of exchange rates and interest rates, there are a few steps to mitigate this issue whereby imported commodities such as raw material, machinery and other items to have a better cost control. Next, for strategic issue and challenges is regulatory change. Basically, the regulation system could be defined as the rules that are made by authority that must be followed by the staff or people in that organization in order to reach the goals of the company. In other words, the pharmaceutical industry is highly regulated. The group needs to be prepared for anticipated future standard when implemented. This regulation changes could give a huge impact towards duopharma since this company is related to the pharmaceutical industry. Furthermore, the mitigation step should be taken to meet the effective solution or to overcome the issue whereby to achieve full compliance. The group has implemented process and system. Indeed, an in-house pharmacovigilance and clinical affairs staff keeps track of medication safety and collaborates with regulators and doctors. They invest in large infrastructure upgrades on a regular basis in preparation of future needs to regulatory requirement. Government policy change also could be one of the points that may be a strategic issue and challenges that faced by the duopharma biotech. Other than that, government involvement also plays such a big role and give a huge impact in policy change, especially towards the performance of business companies such as duopharma biotech Berhad. Indeed, regulatory changes may have an impact on the company's success. In this scenario, the pharmaceutical sector, also known as a duopharma biotech Berhad, is heavily regulated. The group must be ready when further standards are adopted. In fact, the new government may implement new policies and changes that will have an impact on the group. Meanwhile, engaging with appropriate authorities on a regular basis and keeping a close eye on changes in government policy and direction are essential could be taken as the mitigation steps by duopharma biotech Berhad. The last of strategic issue and challenges is continuity of collaboration with key partners. So, key partners are the crucial element in the business world. Key partner could be one of the factors that sustainable management of the organization to stand still and survive in the business industry. However, the group interacts of important partner on a number of activities. The project success is contingent on the retention of this key partner. In order to sustain the continuity of collaboration with key partner as well as the retention of key partner could be defined the performance of the duopharma biotech Berhad itself. In other words, the group contains contact with important partners and maintains open lines of communication. All deliverable and performance indicators have been agreed upon on are being fulfilled or surpassed, which could be as the mitigation step that could be taken by duopharma biotech Berhad.
Next, I will present the external forces, which will be step analysis. External elements that may have an impact on the organization's design decision are evaluated using a step analysis. STEP stands for social, technological, economical, environmental, and political. A STEP analysis is a tool used in speculative design to generate discussion and develop numerous societal elements in the future scenario. Businesses and organizations frequently utilize this technique to assess a number of external variables beyond human experiences and value systems. In terms of the social, cultural, technological, economical, ecological, and political sectors, STEP analysis looks at the external environmental elements that had a substantial impact on the organization. Aside from that, the STEP analysis lays the groundwork for identifying threats and opportunities, as well as strengths and weaknesses, which is crucial in defining Porter's 5 forces model and SWOT analysis.
Okay, for the first initial in STEP analysis, which is S, stand for social culture, that each group and culture appears to have their own set of business practice, such as social elements can help organization, like company names, better understand not only how to do business, but also how to understand client preference in a country names healthcare industry. The initial power structure in duopharma biotech Berhad is the social variables that lead to external forces. There is growing trend of income disparity in Malaysia, that this has caused a shift in society power structure which has been in place for the previous 6 until 7 decades. Furthermore, in terms of migration, the prevailing attitude towards migration in Malaysia is negative. As a result, the ability of Pharma Biotech Berhad to bring in international leaders and managers to oversee operation in country may be hampered. Also, external influences that influence social dynamics include gender roles, that Pharma Biotech Berhad has a demography on its side, and education levels influence societal variables.
Next, I will present the second factors of STEP analysis, which is technology. The technology aspect of STEP analysis focuses highly on technological advancements. It includes factors like innovations, communication, energy, transport, research and development, patent regulation and life cycle of products, new technologies effects, research development speed, new products, investment, and government research expenditure. Technology is fast disrupting various industries, and healthcare is no different. There are numerous ways technology factors are impacting pharma biotech in Malaysia. Some of the technological factors are access to greater information, supply chain disruption because of technology, population access to technology, innovation in product offerings, rate of technology-driven change, innovation in customer services, and access to mobile phones during empowerment. Duo Pharma Biotech Berhad was able to transition smoothly into the new working norm when the MCO was declared. This is all because of technology. Internal meetings and meetings with external stakeholders were not disrupted because they were held online. They also were capable of conducting virtual factory acceptance tests (FAT) for machinery acquired from overseas, and participating in industry events by utilizing their technology infrastructure. Next, they reaffirmed their dedication to integrity by hosting an annual Halal Integrity and Sustainability (HIS) program online. Their digital functionality was bolstered further in July when they successfully complete a year-long process to migrate their system, application and products SAP to a private cloud. Also in July, duopharma Biotech launched Respond, a risk management platform that enables risk analysis and the sharing of critical data across organizational levels. Their current emphasis is on the digitalization of service offerings. Globally, they are experiencing a healthcare transformation characterized by increased use of apps and the substitute of face-to-face engagement with telemedicine. Telemedicine has numerous advantages. For example, because patients avoid hospital, they do not refill their prescription medicine for ongoing ailments. This will not be possible with telemedicine. The organization, which is duopharma Biotech Berhad, intends to be a component of the transformation and is investigating how digitalization can have the most positive impact on healthcare in the country. Their investment in Rivalry acts as a springboard into this market. They are also switching to more digital interaction with customers. And lastly, duopharma Biotech in Malaysia combines the knowledge and skills of their multidisciplinary R&D scientists with the expertise of leading biotech players to offer Malaysians the best healthy solutions. Next, we move to the next factors in STEP analysis, which is economy. Economy include labor market circumstances, taxation rates, inflation rates, the stage of the economy of the country name, exchange rates, customer disposable income, interest rates, and the nation's name economic performance. According to the data from Bank Negara Malaysia, the country's GDP dropped by 5.6% in 2020 following the adoption of the MCO. Economic growth fell by 17.1% in the second quarter. However, the implementation of stimulus measures as well as the ultimate restoration of operation in various sectors allow for a steady strengthening of the economy, which is expected to rise between 6.5 and 7.5 in 2021. However, despite the difficult environment, duopharma Biotech continues to grow in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has timed much of the world's economic progress. Duopharma Biotech's virtual AGM, annual grand meeting, which allows shareholders to participate and vote from afar. Duopharma Biotech Berhad concluded their 2019 on a high note, with financial reflecting sustained, bold improvement and remarkable set of results to cap off a successful year, with yearly net profit up to 17% to 55.27 million on higher revenue of 576.56 million, capping off a great performance in 2019. The group also began 2020 with a bang, reporting PBT of 17.73 million on increased revenue of 158.7 million in 2020 in quarter 1 2020.
Next are ecology, which is over the last decade, environmental and sustainability issues have grown increasingly significant to corporations that the government and private organizations are increasingly demanding environmental standards. Some environmental factors include proper water treatment, pollution restrictions, safe disposal of hazardous materials, insurance policies, climate change, increased focus on sustainability, limiting carbon footprint, safe waste disposal, and so on. that as a responsible organization, duopharma Biotech recognized its obligation to contribute a healthy environment for future generations. As a result, duopharma Biotech abides by all Department of Environment (DOE) laws and regulation, as well as the 1974 Environmental Quality of Act. Environmental factors that affect duopharma Biotech are they are interested in renewable technology, that it can take advantage of the industry current trends, that Malaysia is offering subsidies to encourage for people to invest in renewable energy. The Paris Climate Agreement has set concrete goals for Malaysian national government to meet. This could lead to more examination of duopharma Biotech regulatory protections in Malaysia. Next, waste management has become increasingly important for players such as duopharma Biotech, particularly for operations located near urban areas, that the Malaysian government has enacted severe waste collection regulations in metropolitan areas. Moreover, environmental regulations are also influencing product development priorities. Instead of adhering to conservative value proposition, many items are created to meet environmental norms. That the next environmental factors are customers' engagement, and growing customer consciousness has pushed environmental consideration to the forefront of duopharma Biotech strategy. That customers expect duopharma Biotech to once again follow the law, but to go above and beyond in order to become a responsible community contributor. As a manufacturer, it is duopharma Biotech's responsibility to ensure that their operations are waste-free and leave as little of an environmental footprint as possible, with as little impact on the environment as possible towards their goal. Um, to keep track of their water and electricity both for their own consumption and for the disposal of waste, properly dispose of garbage, they lowered their water consumption by 30% year-over-year in 2018, thanks to the installation of more efficient equipment, enhanced cleaning practices, and a general increase in employee awareness of the need of conserved water. Next, in the STEP analysis, we have politics, which is the political factors such as labor market regulation, public policies, competitiveness, oversight regulation, good governance, tax policies, protectionist policies, information protection, and subsidies are all examples of policy framework. That dual form by tech do the government resource allocation and timescale, that the Malaysia new government policies can improve the investment sentiment in the healthcare sector. Next is in political stability in the existing markets. Company duopharma Biotech operates in numerous countries, so it has to make a policies of each country based on the biotechnology and drugs industry specific requirement. Lastly is regulatory practices, that duopharma Biotech has to manage diverse regulation in a various market it is presented in. Next, in the politics, we also have a taxation policies that over the last decades, duopharma Biotech has benefited from lower taxation policies throughout the Western Hemisphere, and government of Malaysia has come under increasing global pressure to adhere to World Trade Organization regulation on biotechnology and drug industry. And importance of local government in Malaysia, like unlike in the most country, local government play critical role in policy making and regulation in Malaysia, which is duopharma Biotech also have to follow those local government regulations and policy.
Hi, my name is Nurul Fatihah binti Ishaq. My metric number is 262693. I will continue present about Portal 5 forces. Duopharma Biotech Berhad applied Portal 5 forces to analyze the potential profit of products, identify the strengths, and refine weaknesses. The first one is customer bargaining power. Customers have bargaining power in the market to ensure that they always get product with higher quality, lower prices, and good customer service. Basically, duopharma company decision-making process is dependent on customer demand capabilities regarding to new product release, finding a new customer, or new market. Duopharma Biotech is established and certified as a halal pharmaceutical organization and have gone through strict conventional standards. They only provide a smarter solution for a healthier life by producing quality and guaranteed halal medicinal products. They become the first pharmaceutical company in Malaysia to manufacture and market a cancer drug called Lebrecta. To meet the needs of customers, over 300 products has been successfully produced by duopharma, consisting of Euphamol, Flavox, Proviton, and more. The second one is rivalry among existing competitors. Duopharma Biotech need to compete fiercely with existing companies in the biotechnology and drug market. Thereby, Duopharma always strives to provide a skilled, efficient, and up-to-date workforce. Without government control in the free market economy, pharmaceutical companies, distributors, manufacturers, and retailers in Malaysia are given the freedom to set their prices. However, Duopharma has 7 main strategies, which is core business growth, biotherapeutic portfolio expansion, new specialized area of investment, opportunities in leveraging mergers and acquisition, digitalization, focus on the halal market, and strengthening of international business. They also try to make good manufacturing practice standards, enable virtual factory acceptance testing, and launch the Riskbone platform. In addition, duopharma Intelligent also provides digital services enabling healthcare to monitor and interact using an application called telemedicine.
As we know that suppliers have their important roles to make sure the efficient relationship in management and also being flexible at the same time. So suppliers have their bargaining powers to change the pace of profits stepped in by duopharma. So strong bargaining of supplier will put at risk their possible profits of duopharma. And the demand of prescription drug has been decreased by 1.1%, which controlled by duopharma Biotech. So it also influenced the adequate flow of raw materials to ensure the company to be smooth in export product abroad, such as in Singapore, Vietnam, and also in Yemen. They also have their partner from Korea, which called Tangent Biotech and also Biotech. So they signed the memorandum to supply Malaysia through biosimilar plants. Next is threat of new entrants in biotech and drugs industry. So Pharma current competitive position might be in risk due to new competitors that enter in the same industry. So it will lead Pharma in their decision making for their improvement in innovations. It also will provide a new value of proposition for their existing or for new potential customer in market. So it also influences the cost of drug production since new competitors will attract more demands from new customers. So it will increase the generic copy rate since the costs relatively lower due to their flexibility to produce small capacities of final capsules and drugs. Lastly, threat of substitutes in the biotechnology and drugs industry. When substitute exists in pharmaceutical industry, it automatically affects market profitability through initiating the price competition while lowering the product prices. So it automatically relatively expensive, and sometimes the company will offer lower quality to their potential customer. But somehow the pharma will be able to sustain the strategy with higher price to market targets of their loyal customers. And pharma also needs to have this intellectual property or we call as IP, as one of the strategy to protect the company through the patent protection. So biotech and drugs product by duopharma will be considered as the original brands compared to other competitors and other newcomers. So it will have as one of efforts to avoid the other versions of the generic drugs by different trade names that have been produced in the market.
Next slide for the internal forces. The duopharma Biotech Berhad Group, referred to as duopharma Biotech, was founded in 1978 by duopharma Sdn Berhad. Duopharma Biotech was founded in the year 2000 and is now one of Malaysia's largest pharmaceutical firms, with shares listed on Bursa Malaysia, Securities Berhad's main market. Next, for the company type and industry, duopharma Biotech's core competencies in the pharmaceutical industry include manufacturing, research and development, and commercialization. They also have a marketing of over 300 generic drugs, including Omisec and Prelica, as well as consumer healthcare (CHC) products like Chems, Flavors, Proviton, and Uphamol, which are well known and accepted by consumers in Malaysia, the region, and globally. With technological and commercialization agreements with trustworthy and powerful international partners, the company has also ventured into the biosimilar space. Next, their headquarters are in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. duopharma Biotech has 3 production units in Selangor that are located in Klang, Bangi, and Glenmarie. In addition for that, duopharma Biotech has subsidiaries in the Philippines and Singapore. Meanwhile, in Jakarta, Indonesia, a subsidiary of duopharma Biotech runs a representative office. Next is for the vision, mission, and tagline of duopharma Biotech Berhad. The vision, providing smarter solutions for a healthier life. The mission, leading healthcare group providing quality and innovative solutions, and the tagline, which is smarter solution, healthier life. Next, we're focusing on objective and strategies of duopharma Biotech Berhad. In Malaysia, duopharma Biotech Berhad is a leading pharmaceutical firm. The goal is to create a leading healthcare company that offers high quality, cutting-edge solutions. They have committed to upgrading their manufacturing facilities with cutting-edge technology in order to improve their compliance requirements and capacity to meet their expansion objective. Next, duopharma Biotech Berhad is always innovating for society's healthy and welfare, delivering solutions through efficient and cost-effective procedures. They embody their vision of providing better solutions for a healthy life, creating chances for high performance and sustainability growth for all stakeholders, with a firm emphasis on the future. For the strategies, duopharma Biotech Berhad focus on 4-pronged strategies. The first is to expand the range of the ethical and consumer healthcare (CHC) product portfolios. Next, diversify into high-value biologicals and niche products. Next, enhance their presence in Asian region. And lastly, to upgrade their manufacturing facilities into world-class assets.
This is our list of board of directors for duopharma Biotech company. As we can see here, the top management are Tan Sri Datin Paduka, Siti Saadja binti SH Bakar, which is the non-independent non-executive chairman. Next, this is Tan Sri Datin Paduka Siti Saadja binti SH Bakir profile, which is her age are at 68 years old and her nationality is Malaysian, and the qualification is, as we can see down here, honorary Doctor of Philosophy, which is in University Utara Malaysia, honorary Honorary Doctor of Letters, University of Reading, United Kingdom, Master of Business Administration, Henley Business School, Bachelor in Economic, University of Malaya, Malaysia, and she is a non-independent of non-executive of duopharma Biotech since 28 December of 2017. As we can see here, this is our duopharma Biotech list of top management team, which is that lead the company. That the upper management are Leonard Arif bin Abdul Shattar, which is Group Managing Director, Executive Director, and the lower are Anita binti Esa, Head Group Risk Management Duopharma Biotech Berhad, Rama Songlingam, anak lelaki Nagapan, which is Head Group Internal Audit and Integrity Duopharma Biotech Berhad, and the below are the also the top management team, which is Wan Amir Jeffrey bin Wan Abdul Majid, which is Chief Operating Officer, Chief Commercial Officer Duopharma Biotech, Chet Wukong, Chief Financial Officer, Eng Suyi, Chief Technical Officer, also Krinash Kumara Reddy, anak lelaki Kesava Reddy, Chief Manufacturing Officer, Ibrahim Hussein Saleh, which is Chief Legal Officer and Group Company Secretary Duopharma Biotech Berhad, and lastly Shamsul Idham bin Abdul bin Ishad, which is Chief Executive Officer of Duopharma Biotech Berhad. Next, for the organizational structure, we have board structure, which is for the upper management, board director, which is will be do the tasks such as audit and integrity committee, nomination and remuneration committee, risk management and sustainability committee, halal committee, also medical advisory committee. Okay, as we can see here, those are company that related and collaborate with Duopharma Biotech that we highlighted in such as specific of type, which is in green is in research and development, blue is sales and marketing, yellow is for manufacturing, gray for depot, and pink for dormants, and orange is for others or other sections.
The next important part of audit report is financial analysis, which identified to evaluate the financial statement data for the company, performances budget, transactions which be able to provide profitability to control the monetary of the company. So as you can see, the first one is gross profits, which through the table in 2018 and 2020, it very significant increase in gross profit between those years, which is from 2018 it is 204,480 ringgit to 2019 which is 232,067 ringgit. Meanwhile, the gross profit that earned between 2019 until 2020 only show a slight increase, which make it into 233,201 ringgit. So this is because of the amount of the company, both revenues and expenses, which directly affect the company gross profit that earned by the Duopharma. Next is net profit after tax. As you can see on the table, it shows the net profit after tax of Duopharma Biotech Berhad for 2018 until 2020. So it increased consistently in net profit after tax, which has value for 47,641 ringgit in 2018 and 55,273 ringgit in 2019, and also increased as well as 58,610 ringgit in 2010. This shows that the company has achieved an excellent performance which can be improved for the future. For total asset, the duopharma Biotech Berhad has experienced a slight increase for the years of 2018, 2019, and also 2020. In the 2018, the total asset owned by the company are worth for 836,378 ringgit, and in 2019, it worked for 919 ringgit, 19,801 ringgit. So for 2020, the company achieved the highest total asset, which is 1,058,332 ringgit. So the company has managed their company non-current asset and also current asset very well, which shows their ability to earn their high profits return. Next is total liabilities, that shows the total liabilities for duopharma Biotech Berhad for the years 2018 until 2020. So in 2018, the total liabilities are 355,337 ringgit and being increased in 2019, which is 390,051 ringgit. In 2020, it also shows an increasing consistently in 414,000 ringgit and 611 ringgit. So the total liabilities are increasing every year. It influenced by the company funding sources, where it also increased their cash flow. On the other hand, duopharma has successfully improved their position in business financial through credit transactions when purchasing goods, and it also for shareholder equity. The shareholder equity for duopharma Biotech for the years of 2018 and 2020. In the year of 2018, the total shareholder equity is 451,051 ringgit, while in 2019 and 2020, it kept increasing by 529,750 ringgit and 643,821 ringgit respectively. This shows the performance of the company on how they manage their equity. So they are being able to cover up their total liabilities because they have total assets for the company. The next one is return on investment. So the return on investment for duopharma in the year of 2018 until 2020 are being changed for every year. So in 2018, the return on investment are 0.057% and increased in 2019 for 0.060%. Meanwhile, in 2020, it decreased to 0.055%. So this shows how poor performance of the company gain their profits. So when the percentage of those 3 years are slightly changed, it indicates that the company performance are weak and unstable.
I will continue present about financial analysis. The first one is return on equity. Figure 7 shows the return on equity for duopharma Biotech Berhad for the years of 2018, 2019 and 2020. The return on equity on 2018 is 0.134% and increased to 0.142% in 2019. This result shows that the rising return on equity could be defined as duopharma is increasing profit generation, which is well performed by this company. For 2020, it slightly decreased for 0.141%, that may indicate less efficient usage of equity capital. This shows the average performance of the resulting company using equity to gain profit. Return on equity is another method of measuring profitability that does not take debt into account. Next is current ratio. The current ratio gauges of company's ability to pay off current liabilities with current asset within a year. The data shows duopharma experienced a significant increase in the current ratio from the year of 2018, 2019 and 2020. Their company has managed better and highest current assets and lowest current liability in 2020 with current ratio 3.06. This shows that duopharma has more current assets to pay their current liability. In fact, current assets acquired increased well, while the value of current liabilities fluctuated. It is a good sign to the company that they have managed their current assets well. The third one is quick ratio. The quick ratio is used to measure the company's ability to pay off its short-term obligation without only relying on the sale of prepaid and inventory. There are significant increase in quick ratio from the year of 2018, 2019 and 2020. That's a good sign because duopharma has enough assets to be liquidated instantly without relying on inventory and able to pay off the current liabilities. In 2018, it was 1.02 is the value of quick ratio, while 1.14 for the year of 2019 and 2.05 in 2020. However, current liabilities have a huge influence on the quick ratio. Thus, duopharma Biotech Berhad has sufficient quick assets that are greater than 1 to pay its current liabilities. The next one is cash ratio. Cash ratio, also known as the cash asset ratio, is a liquidity metric that measures a company's ability to repay short-term debt with cash and cash equivalents. It is a company's cash ratio is greater than 1, it can cover all short-term debt while still maintaining a cash balance. Duopharma cash ratio is more than 1 for 2020 with a cash ratio value of 1.05. For 2020, duopharma has less current liabilities than cash and cash equivalents, but still sufficient to pay off their short-term debt. However, the company is unable to cover its existing liabilities in 2018 and 2019, but it has less cash and cash equivalents than current liabilities, which are 0.44 and 0.50 respectively. The second last is profit margin ratio. Profit margin ratios remain unchanged with 0.10% from 2018 until 2020. Although duopharma net profits and sales revenue increase slowly, main factors that influence profit margin is the company current ratio through the condition of liquidity of duopharma, which is able to pay their maturity debt. In this case, duopharma executives excel in managing biotech and drugs products while controlling their goods sold costs in financial aspects. Other factors that maintain their profit margin is duopharma adaptability to improve their brand and the value of the products by targeting high sales in any situation. The last one is debt ratio. The company's debt ratio reveals whether it has loans and how its credit financial compares to its assets. The table shows 3 consecutive duopharma debt ratios. In 2018 and 2019, the ratios are 0.42, while 0.39 was in 2020. This could imply that duopharma is not a high-risk investment for lenders. It is since assets are greater than liabilities from 2018 to 2020. This indicates that the company's ability to pay off its liabilities with its asset is improving. This will have a direct impact on the company's financial leverage.
So the next is operating cash flow or sales ratio. Operating cash flow refers to a measure of the amount of cash successfully generated by an operating business or company to get sales. According to figure and the table, duopharma Biotech Berhad experienced the increase and decrease in their operating cash flow, or also known as a sales ratio, from the year of 2018, 2019 and 2020. The calculation to find the percentage of operating cash flow or sales ratio is by dividing operating cash flow over the net sales. In 2018, the percentage of sales ratio was the highest with the value of 14.50%. However, the percentage of sales ratio experienced a relatively significant decline in 2019, which made it only 11.61%. This is because the value of sales ratio is affected by the decline in operating cash flow value from 72,331 ringgit in 2018 to 66,956 in 2019, while net sales are increasing. Meanwhile, the year of 2020 shows an increase in sales ratio, which makes the value of 12.52%. The higher value of sales ratio gives advantages to duopharma Biotech Berhad to turn their sales into cash. So the last one is the cash flow coverage ratio. Based on the table, it shows the ratio of cash flow coverage in 3 consecutive years from 2018 until 2020. In 2018, operating cash flow is 72,331 ringgit, while 355,337 ringgit is company total liabilities, which resulted in the cash flow coverage ratio becoming 0.2036. It surprisingly dropped to 0.1717 in 2019 and slowly increased to 0.1721 in 2020. In 2019, operating cash flow decreased into 66,956 ringgit. In financial terms, the ratio are supposed to be less than 1, which is indicate duopharma gain less cash from their manufacturing business operation. The potential factor is duopharma should acquire more capital for company operation due to their short-term liabilities problem. This is important to ensure the ratio to be greater than 1, as it can attract more investors and creditors because of the ability of the company to have earning left over after covering their current short-term liabilities in particular years. Cash flow coverage ratio is a crucial part of any biotech and drugs company like duopharma to improve their strategies and in managing debts. And it also help the company financial position and optimize the resources properly through the maximum cash flow. Next, we move to the SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis is referring to the strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and threat of duopharma Biotech Berhad. So we will go through one by one. So first of all, the strength point, which is the strong product branding. duopharma Biotech is a brand that powerful whenever it compresses and renders visible a firm's pinnacle achievement across time and when it credibly displays its uniqueness across all concepts. Duopharma Biotech has been established in the biotechnology and drug industry for a long time in this market. And also, it have such a huge and high brand awareness in the biotechnology and drug industry. Duopharma Biotech area also have expertise in the pharmaceutical companies include manufacturing, research and development, and commercialization and marketing. Beside, for the next strength, would say the first mover advantage and market leadership position. Duopharma Biotech is a first mover advantage, which is a company capacity to outperform its competition by being the first to market in a new product area. Being the first to create and commercialize a product has a number of significant advantages that help a company market position. Duopharma Biotech holds a commanding share of the market in the biotechnology and drugs sector. As one of the old company in the pharmaceutical industry in Malaysia, they have an advantages as a first mover that in an ever increasingly competitive marketplace. Next, move to the weaknesses, which is the regulatory change. Regulation that are more stricter than necessary can increase the expense of doing business needlessly. So restriction can make a firm stable since some regulations are rigid and do not allow enterprise to adapt to changing consumer demand. As a result, such a strict restriction do not aid companies but rather cause a problem. The pharmaceutical industry is highly regulated and Duopharma Biotech is no exception. So the other weaknesses is the supplier loyalty is at an all-time low. In the business are concerned about the durability of their supply chain. COVID-19 has been a big issue in all business that makes supplier take the decision to resign from the project like that and not give benefit to them. Duopharma Biotech Berhad, which fits underneath the necessary services classification, was one of the select few business granted authorization during the movement control order, which is MCO period. However, while there has been no effect on the business, the pharmaceutical company does not expect to be immune to the effect of MCO and the COVID-19 pandemic because it relies on the raw resources. The firm's biggest focus right now is how exchange rate risks and supply chain disruption might affect it. So next, we move to the opportunities and threat point. So for the opportunities, it would refer to the established and certified as halal organization. So Duopharma Biotech was well established and is already being guaranteed by the halal. The expanding on halal portfolio continues to be priority for Duopharma Biotech Berhad as it seeks to distinguish itself from its peers. Besides, halal business help them achieve their international expansion goal. The majority of the nation have targeted for expansion are in Asia, including Indonesia, the Philippines, and Thailand, all of which have significant Muslim population. With increased knowledge and regulation, demand for halal medication is expected to rise, and Duopharma Biotech hopes to capitalize on this trend, adding to their understanding of the marketing and advertising. They provide training to their employees on halal issues that are relevant. For the next opportunities is expansion of business to other countries. By reaching out to a new group of clients is one of the best motivation for business expansion, even if you already have a well-established customer base. There is always the possibility of gaining new consumer as your firm grows, especially if that growth entails the introduction of new products and services using its biosimilar and biotherapeutic product. Duopharma Biotech Berhad will continue to seek new market in order to enhance export sales and expand its international footprint. By expanding its consumer healthcare product portfolio and diversifying into high-value biological and specialized products are among Duopharma Biotech Berhad future plans according to the company. We will proceed to the threat, which is the COVID-19 pandemic will be the threat for the Duopharma Biotech. As a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, which caused abrupt and unexpected changes in condition, crisis management and reaction took center stage in 2020, affecting practically every aspect of the group business, including labor, operation, supply chain, trade, finance, and consumer. COVID-19 has made it essential for business to be able to undertake remote operation. Pharmaceutical service, on the other hand, are different story, are more important than ever before. As a result, Duopharma Biotech began to expand and operate their manufacturing facilities, but with the help of extra safeguard in place while sticking in accordance with the conditions set out by the different government agency. The other threat that might be faced by this company is the government policy change, which is people's basic idea about the world are frequently the source of policy. Recognizing Duopharma Biotech Berhad status as a government-linked company and a leading pharmaceutical company on its way to becoming a leading healthcare group. Duopharma Biotech has fostered and continues to foster collaborative relationship with a diverse range of stakeholders who have an impact on its performance and are affected by its action. However, the new government may implement new policies and changes that will have an impact on the group.
Next, we will presenting about TOS analysis, which is TOS is an acronym for threats, opportunities, weakness, and strengths that it extends a SWOT analysis. TOS examines a company external opportunities and threats of and compares them to the firm's strengths and weakness. This analysis forms the basis to develop TOS strategies and to form actionable tactics. For the internal, which is strengths and opportunity, as we can see in the TOS analysis matrix over here, that since Duopharma Biotech Berhad could sustain in the pharmaceutical industry, the company needs to continuously expand their product line by continuing to live a true goal of offering better solutions for a healthy life. That the group is attempting to gain European Medicines Agency good manufacturing practice accreditation, which certifies the group goods are manufacturing in safe, effective, and high quality way. That the EMAs, which is a European Medicine Agency certification of compliance, fits well with the group's objective of expanding its regional and worldwide footprint. Furthermore, the other strength and opportunities analysis that can be carried out from the Duopharma Biotech Berhad is halal certification in vaccination. Since the pandemic issue of COVID-19, the halalness issues of vaccinations has been arisen due to Malaysian is a Muslim country. However, duopharma Biotech Berhad managed this issue well and smoothly. In other words, due to the group's commitment in being led in halal pharmaceutical goods in resolving Muslim communities' concerns about the vaccine's halal certification, duopharma Biotech is exploring prospective cooperation with relevant vaccines makers that duopharma Biotech company also can take advantage of brand recognition in new markets. Next, in the internal, we have weaknesses and opportunities, which is regulatory plays such as important role in every organization. Same goes to duopharma Biotech Berhad also implements the regulatory guidelines to ensure the performance of company could be improved from time to time. In fact, the change of regulation may affect the performance of company itself. In this case, the duopharma Biotech Berhad, known as the pharmaceutical sector, in very tightly controlled. When the future standards are adopted, the group needs to be prepared. As we all know, the name of duopharma Biotech Berhad company brings out one of the huge and stable companies in Malaysia, following by the strengthening products establishment and brand by expanding the brand name worldwide. Duopharma Biotech can invest into customer-focused service and the supply chain to attract more range and customer base. Next, the external, which is, as we can see here, ST strategy stand for strength and threats. That the first mover advantage market leadership position, which is our strength, strength for number 2, and our threat is COVID-19 pandemic. That duopharma Biotech Berhad, known as pharmaceutical firms which provide critical service, have been working hard to improve and integrate all of necessary system and frameworks in order to provide a high degree of governance. In fact, since the COVID-19 outbreak, duopharma Biotech Berhad took full advantage of the opportunity to contribute the country's well-being by realizing that the protecting personnel was more important than maintaining product supply to the market. As a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, which caused abrupt and unexpected changes in conditions, crisis management and reaction took center stage in 2020, affecting practically every aspect of group business. By optimizing and, where appropriate, adjusting the group strategy and multifaceted business continuity plan, the board committee, and the senior management have taken steps to alleviate the interruption caused by the crisis. Next, for the next box, we have WT strategy, which just stands for weakness and threats, which is our weakness, our supplier loyalty is at all-time low, and our threats are government policy changes that the duopharma Biotech Berhad, which supplied loyalty towards the company. Consumer behavior has changed dramatically as a result of the pandemic, as well as the supply chain interruption, new regulation, financial hardship, and environmental uncertainty. That a pandemic task force that enables group to respond rapidly to any potential scenario, that ensuring the COVID-19 is managed in accordance with the authorities' recommendations. Indeed, a weekly market monitoring report to track market developments. That furthermore, to guarantee sufficient buffer stock of raw materials and completed goods in anticipation of delayed delivery from foreign supply by obtaining alternative supplies, and communities that may fill the gaps from the existing suppliers in order to ensure sufficient cash to handle commitments. Moreover, the government policies also play a big role towards the performance of duopharma Biotech Berhad, since this company is a government-affiliated corporation and a major pharmaceutical company on the verge becoming a leading healthcare group. Hence, the change of government may impact the performance of duopharma Biotech Berhad, which may trigger the group to implement new upcoming policies and might face others challenges of risk of the company. And lastly, besides the new government may implement new policies and changes that will have an impact on the group.
There are two WO strategies or big opportunity strategies. The first one is expanding the business as the multinational company globally. So in efforts to extend or to expand the product lines to multinational company, it was one of the initiatives to be more productive in globally. So it will help people to extend their healthy lives while reducing illness worldwide. So the company have to follow developing countries with extensive human capital by demonstrating big capabilities in research and development programs. Next is regulatory consideration strategy for biotech. So the strategies will always change and optimize the opportunity to achieve the regulatory goals. So the regulatory strategy for biotech, which is the first one, is engagement with internal stakeholders such as CEO, managers, or even employees. The second one is duopharma should involve in pharmaceutical and biotech submissions trial. And the third one is evaluating the attributes of drug products. And then is implement regulatory intelligence which will anticipate the issues that related. And the last one is every duopharma, biotech, and drug product should be tested through clinical study. For strength and threat strategies, we have implement new business model strategy, which consists of business environment changing rapidly, will lead the company to focus more on their overall business model. So the tendency of Pharma to sustain in the biotech drugs industry will be influenced by the differentiation of the business model. So during this COVID-19, Pharma should change their business model through a strategic plan to face the challenges of the unexpected situation that will come in the future. The next one is effective marketing strategies to gain new customer. So Pharma should focus on their supply chain through business to business or business to consumer through any marketing approach that are relevant. And also the company have to apply the business revenue model strategy to help on producing better biotech and drugs product for the company, for example, in terms of licensing revenue. And the last one is customer engagement to increase the awareness by encourage interactions with the potential customers that will could attract.
Weakness and trade recommendation strategies. The first strategy is continuous engagement with the new authorities that determine policy. Business development depends on the policy set by the government that will affect interest rate, consumer spending pattern, and the value of investments in businesses. Besides creating specific alliance with government, competitors, and players in the industry, duopharma must constantly monitor the development of political, social, and policy activities that will affect their business. The results of this monitoring will greatly assist businesses in anticipating opportunities and threats that may arise. Thus, involve public officials in regular events and meetings also can reap the benefits. Gain reputation to attract the attention of the authorities and support from the public affairs team. Duopharma could placing the mindset-centered individual to represent the company openly in terms of leadership and skilled experts about the industry. This strategy aims to prove the government that it will implement changes to the policy that anyone in the organization can be a foresight thought leader and can give progress to their industry. The second strategy is develop new technologies to lower supply chain prices. The strength of the business to thrive depends on its suppliers and supply chains. Sustainability money generation need to be emphasized to ensure that duopharma biotech Berhad is in a good condition and moving forward for a higher level. Duopharma should change its route from investing in the innovation ecosystem located in Korean public companies to invest in Malaysia itself. Malaysia also has potential of innovation in the ecosystem by developing effective ideas and strategies into the market. The capital market in Malaysia should take risks to turn innovation into commercial success. Many Malaysian academics also have knowledge and are accustomed to being involved in the use of technology in research and development process. Therefore, duopharma can reduce long-term supply chain costs by purchasing or producing raw materials from within the country rather than buying from suppliers in Korea. As a conclusion, duopharma Biotech Berhad has a huge potential to continuously hold the title of leading pharmaceutical company in Malaysia that manufactures smarter solutions with innovation and high-quality products for the health and wellness of the community. To face the weaknesses and threats brought by new entrants and existing competitors, duopharma must always be sensitive to the technological development, financial performance, internal and external factors, as well as the industry environment to keep in track with the competitors. Listed as the main market of Bursa Malaysia Security Berhad, duopharma should continue to move forward in overcoming top competitors such as Sino Biopharmaceutical, Cipla, PPD, and Taisho Pharmaceutical. The use of SWOT and financial analysis allows the company to better understand customers, competitors, partners, and deepen the company's financial capabilities. That's all from our group. Thank you.
For the last part of our presentation, this is the appendix part, and this is the appendix 1, which is WhatsApp conversation between the group. We use WhatsApp as our main medium to discuss anything for our strategy audit report. For the next appendix, we also use WhatsApp video call for our group discussion to discuss about the strategic audit report. Next, for appendix 3, the organizational structure of company of duopharma Biotech Berhad, which include board structure and corporate structure. Next appendix, which is appendix 4, the strategic factor analysis summary matrix of company, which is SFAS. We relate the SFAS with IFAS and EFAS, which is internal factor of analysis summary and external factor analysis summary. This is the conclusion of IFAS and EFAS. Firstly, we have the strong product branded for strength 1, and weakness 1 we have the regulatory change. Opportunities 1 we have the halal certification in vaccination, and the threats 2, which is government policy change. The next appendix part which is appendix 5 and appendix 6. Appendix 5 is for turn it in screening on audit report, and appendix 6 is for comments, recommendations, and suggestions by our lecturer, which is Professor Madya Dr. Abdul Manaf bin Buhari. For the appendix 7, which is progress on early checking in the WhatsApp group, and appendix 8 is our turn 18 result, which is 18%. Lastly, for the appendix 9, which is the website homepage of the company, and this is the link for duopharma Biotech Berhad website. To end our presentations, we provide 3 questions that based on our strategic audit report of duopharma Biotech company. Number 1 is, what is the strengths of duopharma Biotech company? Number 2, what is the business type and industry that duopharma and biotech company that based on? And number 3, for ourselves, which is How can we improve our presentation and slide? That's all from our group number 13, which is Bachelors group. Thank you.